Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Streamlabs panel on growing your audience across platforms. It's great to be here back in San Diego again. Probably like one of the first content sessions of the entire convention. And yeah, keep filing on in. It's good to see you all. It's great to be back here. And my name is Eric. I go by NubbinsInc pretty much everywhere on the internet. And we've assembled this wonderful panel of content creators and my boss to talk to us all about technology, the intersection of technology, and this thing that we all do, streaming, content creation, and community building. So why don't we go ahead, Jahara, why don't we start introductions, and we'll just kind of go down the line.
Hi, everyone. Test. Cool. Awesome. Hi, everyone. I'm JaharaJayde. It's so good to be here. I am a professional cosplayer and content creator across Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much all of the things. Yeah.
Hi, guys. It is. It doesn't seem like it. Test. Okay. Oh, yeah, I can hear myself now. I'm SteffyEvans. I'm a streamer, content creator. I play Call of Duty, yell at a lot of people. That's kind of what I do for a living. So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, wow, that is loud. Yeah, cheers. Hi, everyone. I'm Max, or Stanman. I would say I'm a professional FIFA pack opener. So, you find me everywhere, short form, long form. Started out in Call of Duty, now in FIFA, and been at it for about 6 years. A lot of fun.
Hi, everyone. I'm Oshray Urs, head of Streamlabs, based in San Francisco. And yeah, thank you all for kicking off your TwitchCon with us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us bright and early. So yeah, the first question, the core premise of this panel is growing your audience across platforms. I think people who have been paying attention to the content creation space at this point recognize that nobody is just a streamer anymore. Nobody is just a YouTuber anymore. You are doing everything. You're doing everything across platforms. And I think, Oshray, if we could start with you, just, from the tech perspective of like looking at the industry over time, what shifted? What changed? Like, why now are people almost like forced to be everywhere all the time? Like, what was the industry shift that caused that?
Yeah, I think two key things, right? I think, at TwitchCon last year, Twitch changing their simulcasting policy was a major driver of more creators exploring multi-streaming. We had features like dual output that we sort of built to make it even easier to go, horizontal on platforms where you want to go horizontal, vertical where you want to go vertical. And we have seen just continual growth across the board every single month on the use of all of these tools. So I think the policy change was sort of the kind of like initial impetus. And then I think why it's such a big topic of conversation. It's super interesting, right? I've been here for less than 24 hours in San Diego, and just the number of conversations around multi-streaming that I'm hearing between creators. I think it's something that's very top of mind because we have so much data showing that streamers are very successfully growing audience and gaining viewership through multi-streaming. And it's super interesting, and I'm super interested to hear a lot of the perspectives here today because, we see it across streamers of all sizes, right? With a new streamer, you're just starting out, you go live on more platforms, higher probability you're gonna reach some people with the discovery across those various platforms. And even with, many of the largest streamers, right? Literally last night was talking to CypherPK about how through multi-streaming, he believes he's tripled his viewership that way. So it's just super interesting to hear. And yeah, super excited. This is a very timely panel, I think, for the state of where everything is right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it's safe to say that of our creators here, I feel like everybody kind of got started on like a different platform as well. I know that Steffi, you were doing great things on TikTok, just posting content first, and then now transitioning over to like the live streaming side of things. And like I see on Twitter, like I see the status updates every now and again of like, oh my God, I just had the craziest stream the other day, and like these audiences, like building these audiences everywhere at the same time. Like what was the process of like finding your first platform and then kind of going with that flow? Like, can you describe that a little bit?
I mean, so funny enough, I didn't watch any streams or game at all until like 3 or 4 years ago. Like, I didn't even know what this space was whatsoever. I started playing Fortnite, and I had a PlayStation 4 at the time, and I saw that you could go live, and my ex was like, hey, like, you're pretty good at Fortnite, like, you should try going live. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, I would go live on my PlayStation and then go to the grocery store and leave it on. Like, like for hours.
That's a strat, I guess. Like,
when I say, like, I had no clue what I was doing, and I met Adam. He's over there taking photos. He used to be a creator like years ago. He kind of still is, somewhat. And he like encouraged me to start posting content. And he's like, hey, like TikTok is like blowing up right now. There's an algorithm that like you should start putting your content out there. I'm like, that's weird. Like, why am I, like, I don't do social media. And I started posting on there, and my stuff went viral. Like the algorithm, like, and each platform is very unique. Like, I'll be honest with you, like, TikTok is heavy for, like, women gamers. Like, it's great to blow up there, but YouTube, nope, I can't do it. I don't know what it is. Like, for me, like, I can't do YouTube whatsoever. Like, it's just hate, pure hate. Like, all the comments are, you're a hacker, go to the kitchen. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse here, but I'm not gonna. I'm
like
holding
PG-13.
myself right now. Like, I was gonna say some of the stuff they say to me, but I'm being nice. So like you can like just imagine like the stuff I get. And so at the time I started growing on TikTok, like live streaming was not a thing. Like, you know how if you scroll TikTok now, you see everybody streaming their gameplay, right? Well, I used to just stream my face. Like, there was no gameplay whatsoever. I would prop my phone up in front of me and then stream my face. And then I'd see some viewers come in and I'd be like, come to Twitch, come to Twitch. Like, that's literally how I grew myself. Like, I just nonstop am like promoting myself on TikTok and being like, come to Twitch, come to Twitch. Now, actually, TikTok doesn't encourage that whatsoever. So if you do go live on TikTok, do not promote any other platform. You will be suppressed. It sucks, but I mean, like, it's fair. Like, why would you want to take your viewers away from your platform, you know? And so multi-streaming, like, it can be tough, but I really, really suggest it. And, like, please, guys, post content. I see some streamers out there that full-time never post content. I'm like, how? How are you full-time? It makes no sense. And so, like, I know I kind of strayed away from the question, but... we hear, you know. I kind of strayed away from it, but like, yeah, with like multi-streaming, and that's kind of how I got started. And I do like suggest like going live on all platforms. Like, you're hurting yourself if you're not. And post content, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say we're all big yappers up here, so you know that's why we were selected. You know, I think that yeah, to your point, like, just again because tangent ADHD, I think, you know, I also remember the dark days of TikTok Live when you know, you were literally like just a face cam of your focus face playing a game with no gameplay, just click clack of the keyboard and the mouse
And
and
then
like
you
nothing.
put like a sign up.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
sign
like,
behind you that says
Twitch.tv
like I'm live on Twitch or whatever.
I saw the people that didn't have the TikTok key started putting mirrors.
Yeah.
Like, and they
That
said
was-
they had,
that
like,
was
a
the
phone,
game
and then like, you
changer.
could see it like, ooh, there is a game on, but like if you want to watch the full thing, you got
That was the real
Back
game
in my
changer.
day.
That was huge. Yeah, no, like what was like if you were also like doing the whole, you know, awkward setting your phone up on a tripod, like what was your jank setup for quote unquote multi-streaming to TikTok?
I had a really, I mean, I used to do the similar thing. I was always wondering if I was going to get banned from Twitch because you mentioned they just changed, you know, the multi-streaming thing. But I had a G Fuel can, and then I would prop it up on one monitor, and I would just point it at my face, and it was like every time I would just pan over, I'm like, I'm live on Twitch, and then I'd be back, I'm gaming. I'm like, and they sit there and like, he's not paying attention to TikTok. He's not paying attention to TikTok. Stand. I'm like, it's very interesting to see how it's progressed, especially from TikTok Live, because I know being a Call of Duty creator way back when, there was a lot of, even when they initially introduced vertical live streaming, you got banned for Warzone stuff like every other day. Someone would drop a hot mic, ban, no question, like week ban, month ban, and then you started messing with your account. So it's cool that it's gone as far as it has, but I had a very interesting setup to start.
And I'm interested to know, like, especially, you know, from not just like the creator side of things, but also from the tech side of things. Like, obviously we're moving into sort of a new era of being live on all platforms. You know, platforms like Twitch, platforms like TikTok are really finally opening up to embracing even the concept of multi-streaming. Like, this is something that creators have been pushing and pushing and pushing for a really long time. You know, I remember shortly after I joined Streamlabs, we ran with Ninja for the live everywhere moment that he had. What do you think, from each of your perspectives, do platforms need to embrace next to really fully step into the era of multi-streaming? Because I think it's safe to say that, like, we're like 1 foot in right now, that we're not fully there yet. And like, is what's that next threshold that like platforms have to step over to get us there? And, you know, when do we see that happening, or is it even realistic?
I can start with this one, yeah. So, you know, it's very interesting because with Streamlabs, you know, we've worked with all the platforms, and we sort of see this pattern where every platform goes through the same set of steps in how they embrace live streaming. The very first step is it becomes possible to get, like, you know, your stream key. Then it's like, okay, there's more of an account integration where it's a little bit easier to kind of get your stream key. You don't have to deal with all that. Then it's when they really start understanding like what's important about live streaming in terms of like what makes live streaming special, right? And the thing that makes live streaming special is that interaction that you're having with your audience, right? Things like chat, things like alerts, like these are so critical to the live streaming experience. And that's sort of the next step that the platforms sort of, you know, kind of step into. And we sort of see that repeated with platforms.
I can jump in on that one. When you mentioned chat, and I don't know if everyone would have the same sentiment, but when you talked about your issues with YouTube, one of the reasons, so I started out streaming on Twitch, as most of us did, and then I went to TikTok, Instagram. I actually do different content across most of those platforms. They're not entirely uniform, except for YouTube and Twitch. And right now, I multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube for all of my streams. And all of my VODs and my gameplay lives over on YouTube because it doesn't have the 90-day Twitch limit that you have to worry about, where your stuff literally just disappears into the ether of sadness. But what I find difficult moving from Twitch, which is very much heavy on as a live streaming platform, where YouTube is only kind of jumping into that, where a lot of these places are jumping onto the train, is the lack of moderation in chats on some of these new platforms that make it a lot more difficult to work with, as well as maybe less fun. I have some people that will find me on YouTube and come to Twitch because on YouTube they don't have emotes. On YouTube they don't have hype trains. Like, they don't have that like sense of community that a lot of chat has on Twitch. And then from just like a black femme standpoint, they don't have enough moderation to keep you safe the way that we have pushed and pushed Twitch to implement over the years. And for example, we have even just like emote only mode, auto moderation, and then you go over to YouTube, and I actually have some mods that moderate for me on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. And they're just like, we just can't do the same stuff. Yeah. Like, there are some times where my chat's gotten so out of hand on YouTube, I've just had to cover it because my mods don't have the tools to just do anything about it. So I feel like as we move forward, I would like to see a bit more emphasis on creating community and then just control as like a creator in your own space on these platforms, because you can moderate your comments on YouTube, on TikTok and Instagram if something, filters, removal, deletion, all of that, but all that moderation doesn't move over into the live streaming setting. Mm-hmm. And so it's a little bit harder to curate your audience. And as a creator, it also kind of pushes you away from wanting to be on certain platforms when they just don't do anything to protect you while you're there.
So I'm gonna, oh, sorry.
No, you're good, go.
I'm just gonna add on to that, like with Twitch, like the moderation, like building a community is just so much better than any other platform right now. But if we were to give the TikTok algorithm, like the live streaming algorithm, somehow like to Twitch, like it would be game changer. I feel like a lot of these platforms need to find a way to give more exposure to streamers.
Discoverability, for sure.
And discoverability. Yeah. Like TikTok right now is like ahead of its game. Like if it wasn't for TikTok, I would not be where I am right now. Yeah. Like I have to give it out to TikTok. Like their algorithm is insane. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to go full circle here, you mentioned, you know, how do these platforms embrace multi-streaming? Not too long ago, we saw massive YouTube creators have a different page for shorts in their long-form videos, and nobody knew the answer to like what was the right thing to do. And still, I hear people to this day, they're like, should I post shorts on a different channel? I'm like, stop, please, just post it on whatever you're doing. But I think the big thing that all platforms need to do is they just need to be very clear with streamers. They're like, YouTube and TikTok, it's algorithm-based streaming. They're like, you shouldn't push people off the platform. It's going to hurt your growth. Whereas like Twitch, there really isn't that big of an algorithm. Like, yes, you have discoverability through the game, or potentially you're on the front page. There's some seriously good things that can happen, but it's a totally different streaming experience. And so from a streamer side, and especially like a new streamer aspect, I wish platforms were a lot more clear in helping out people that were just getting started. Because a lot of the stuff that I've learned as law in streaming, I've learned through colleagues, Streamlabs, like people, like not easily accessible information by any means. And especially in multi-streaming, there's gonna be a million questions because each platform's different. So like, what's your intention? Are you going for community? Then it's gonna be hard. TikTok's really weird. And it's like, they just go on rants, and like, Jahar brought up a great point. The moderation is horrible. Like, it is so hard. You have to basically ban every single kid in there that says something, and I'm like, I don't have the time for this. Like, I can't. Like, it's so. As I think we see more streamers such as Cypher, Ninja, Tim start going into multi-streaming, I'll be very interested to see how platforms handle it. But I think above everything, I want them to just be clear to streamers. Like, be concise, give a direct message so people don't step off on the wrong foot and then never try it again.
And then I would think maybe the last step, or somewhere in the middle, would be like the discoverability of streams. Because I will say that on YouTube or even on TikTok, when you do stream, so many times people would be like, where is it? So like, usually if you're from a creator standpoint, you know that you have your videos, your shorts, and your lives in different tabs. But it's still so new on a lot of these platforms that when people are looking for the VODs of your lives on other platforms, they literally have no clue where to go. They don't know where. They feel like they have to go on this like long Indiana Jones like excavation to find your stuff, and then or they'll come in your Discord and be like, "Hi, I missed the live. Like, where do I go?" And I'm like, "Is it that hard to find?" But I guess it is. So it would be nice if it was just a little bit more front and center and shown as a priority. Because honestly, I think live stream really should be a priority for a creator, regardless of what you do, because there really is no better opportunity to connect with your community as much as you can through speaking to them actually live on a frequent basis. So
Yeah, no, definitely. And speaking of, I think a couple of the topics that we sort of touched on there were like, building these communities across platforms, premise of the show, and also just the vibe of each platform. Like we've been touching on, like every single platform has its own community, has its own feel, has its own meme culture. Like, and I think that shouldn't be overstated. Like, that shouldn't be understated. Like, the fact of the matter is that, like, one of the reasons that Twitch in the live streaming space stays winning is because they have access to and they establish streamer culture. Like, it comes from here and filters out to all of these other platforms. But at the same time, one of the things that I learned, being on TikTok Live much more frequently is that TikTok, because of the algorithm, is a lot of people's first exposure to streaming, to the concept of live streaming in the first place. How do each of you go about not just creating content for each of those platforms that speaks to those platforms, but then also, when you're live, if you're on multiple sites at the same time, how are you as a creator handling that? Like, are you just like sort of flag in the ground, like, I am me, either you're gonna vibe with me or not, or are you like tailoring yourself as a creator and your content in your live streams to cater to each platform at the same time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't even understand. Like, if I am just live on Twitch, I can be myself. As soon as I go live on TikTok, I have to change up everything I say and do. And that is one thing I despise. I go live on YouTube, but YouTube is pretty lenient, like, with how you talk. But, like, if I curse, I will get banned. And, like, I literally have a rep that directly works with TikTok Live. And 90% of the time, she can't even get me unbanned. Like, she has to write paragraphs, like, explaining, like, she's playing Call of Duty. That's the enemy team. It's not her teammates saying the hate speech. It's not her. And 90% of the time, she can't even get me unbanned. Like, I, like, have to change myself entirely when I am live on TikTok. So like, yes, I am limited. And then as soon as I end on TikTok, I'm like, oh, thank God. All right, I can be myself. Chat's like, oh no, here she goes.
I think that's funny because I feel like I have an opposite experience where I feel like when I'm on, it's similar. When I'm on Twitch, I can absolutely 100% be myself. The community on Twitch is established, it's mature, they understand, usually when they're there, they know who you are, they respect your rules. I feel like when I go live on TikTok, I have to turn into like a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, you are.
That too.
I feel like it's like, okay, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's so good to see you. Yeah, why don't you join the conversation? Join the conversation. Yeah, hi. Hi. Yes. Okay. I've said hi to you 5 times. Let me know if you want to join us. Okay. So it's like, because just the audience age level is completely different. And because, like she said, they're just not used to live streaming as a concept. So maybe they're just not used to joining the conversation. They just really want to say hi to you. And I just feel like my nerves are a little bit more fried after a TikTok live stream than I am on Twitch, where like people just know what's up. So
Yeah, no, and I mean, you kind of hinted at it a little bit, but I think with the increase in popularity of streaming, like the competition's also got a lot harder. And so in 6 years, streaming's changed a ton. Like if you think about COVID, when I started in 2018, but when I really started to become a streamer during COVID, you could just get on and play. And I feel like there are still people that can do this, and kudos to you. If you've got a community and you continue to grow and you can just get on and game, I love that for you, and I'm eternally jealous.
Yeah,
but
it's goals, right? That's
Yeah.
goals as a content creator. Like,
But it's like I think it's like a blessing and a curse, because with the rise of YouTube, TikTok, and I'll say vertical live streaming, going on stream with a true content plan, I think changes everything. Whereas like I might have done just chatting to start my stream for 30 minutes in 2020. Now I press go live, we're into content in 90 seconds. Because if I don't, YouTube doesn't get a push, TikTok doesn't get a push. It's a huge game changer. And it's not like, oh, okay, I can just start the Twitch stream, then I'm going to start the TikTok stream. No, you're live at once. And so it's like the algorithm-based streaming, I feel like, has changed a lot. And for some people, probably it's hurt them more than it's benefited them. And I can totally see that angle. But if you take advantage of it, the growth is substantial, to say the least.
Like it should be like now is the easiest time to grow. I feel like from what I've heard, I can't accommodate to the past, but the algorithms right now, like if you're not posting, like if you want to do this full time and you're not posting content, you're not gonna make it. Like the algorithms are literally to your benefit. It is so insane how well the algorithms on the short platform is now. So going live, like as you said, but it's good and bad. What sucks is the attention span of people now.
Yeah.
Like,
oh God, yeah.
It's hard. It's so bad. They're like, Stan, open the packs now. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, hi guys.
like literally, I start my TikTok live and I'm like loading into a search game on Call of Duty. They're like, why aren't you in game yet? I'm like, I'm trying to load in. I'm relax. But I mean, yes, like there's benefits and there's disadvantages to what we have and the tools we have now, but the attention span of people is really bad. So, I mean, I can't speak for you, but like my YouTube, like all my shorts do so well. Like I do numbers on like minute and a half videos. My YouTube videos like long. Like my chat's like like I watch a couple, but like I watch a couple of minutes of your YouTube video and then I get bored. I'm like, okay, what are you trying to say? Like they're like, no, it's just my attention span. Like I love the swiping and like the new all the time. I'm like, please watch my videos. Like that's it. Please watch my long videos. But I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like the attention span nowadays, like it's so much shorter. But it's also like there's so many benefits to this as well. Like we have so much growth and we have so many potential. Like with TikTok, we have sponsorships now. Like we get paid to post videos, but it's ruined the long form and like the attention span of people. And that's good and bad thing.
I think it's important to just kind of think for yourself and decide like what kind of audience that you're looking for and really focus on those platforms, because multi-streaming, in our opinion, I think we can all say, is non-negotiable. But you can multi-stream Twitch and YouTube, and you can multi-stream Instagram and TikTok, and you can even throw in Twitter nowadays. And I do completely different content on my short form stuff than I do on my long form stuff. All my long form stuff is video games. All my short form stuff is cosplay. Everyone that's on my long form stuff also knows that I happen to do cosplay, but that's not what they're really there for. They're for gaming. So if I go live on Twitch and YouTube and then I throw in TikTok, the TikTok algorithm and the people that know me there, which is all cosplay, are going to stay while I chat. As soon as I turn the game on, they're just like, she's not talking to us anymore. I don't know. Yeah. Like, I just want to ask her tips about her contacts and her hair, and now she's just talking about this game, while my long-form people are used to like, we're here to watch the game, man. I also would like to know about that, but like, you could just ask her in her Discord. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So it's just kind of like knowing what kind of content you want to make and where it's going to thrive best. And honestly, the best way to do that is to just make it and put it everywhere, because like you're saying, you don't find like YouTube is working super great for you, but TikTok is super amazing. I find that as soon as I joined YouTube, it worked really well for me, and I liked TikTok, but I don't like the audience as much on TikTok. So it's like really just depending on, it's just go by vibes, do it all. And what's nice is we have so many tools compared with when we started that you can do that now, and you can do it all at the same time instead of having to sit down and be like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, which we had to do before, and I feel a little salty about that. So.
It's brute forcing content, right? That's literally what it is, because unfortunately, you can have all of the tools at your disposal, but you still only have so many hours in a day to like actually be able to work on it. And to that end, from a tech perspective, like what can technology, what can platforms like Streamlabs, for example, do to help their creators in this mission, knowing that the workload is now 4x what it was prior to the pandemic?
Yeah, I think more so than probably like in the last year compared to like the last 5 years that preceded it, I think there's been so many like kind of cool advances in technology and a lot of the excitement around AI in sort of just like enabling people through really smart algorithms to automate so much more, right? And I think it's very inevitable that we're going to continue to see, it get easier and easier to sort of, take your live stream and extract great content that will resonate on other platforms. And I think we're still like a few steps away from that. We just announced like 2 days ago, we have an AI game highlighter for Fortnite that'll sort of capture like, just hype moments from your stream. And we're, excited about that, but, I think that's just sort of the start, and I think, we can expect that it's just gonna continually get easier and easier on the technology side to kind of like let you focus on, really like, the thoughtfulness of what all of you are saying in terms of like the planning. And, it's awesome to hear that, it's so important to be aware of what's happening, how the algorithms are evolving, what's sort of the meta right now that you need to be capturing. And I think paying attention to sort of the trends at hand, paying attention to how your stream is performing and your content is performing and learning from that, and kind of like really listening to your audience. It's like, being a streamer, you're doing like 10 jobs at the same time, right? You're an audio engineer, you're a producer, you're a host, you're doing so many things. So the more that technology can sort of solve everything that is keeping you away from interacting with your audience and focusing on the content, then we're doing our jobs. So I think, a lot of exciting things that we're working on in this, and I think, we're gonna see the rate at which kind of new super cool things, sort of like we saw with multi-streaming and dual output, the rate at which these things sort of take off, I think is gonna increase, which will be interesting, while we also see, platforms evolving at the same time and changing, and it's so interesting, the direction the space is sort of going.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback that from a multi-streaming standpoint, I just spent a lot of money on a streaming PC. I recommend everyone does the same instead of getting a gaming one. Right?
We have to do like the hashtag not financial advice.
Yeah, not financial.
Right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
financial
yeah,
advice.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
financial advice. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But in that, it's funny because I have a great streaming PC now, and then I started multi-streaming, and I stream now. My CPU is at 99%. I think about 3 of the 4 hours. So you can imagine how sometimes I'm like, this could be the last one, guys. Like it could be it could be over today. Like I promise you, this might be the last stream. But this is also going to come across as not an ad, but it's not, genuinely. I do have a lot of love for Streamlabs Ultra and what they've done with multi-streaming, because I've been quietly, I will say, multi-streaming for months now. And I have a good streaming PC, like I mentioned, a double PC setup. But to reach all these platforms, it's difficult. Like it's hard enough to do 2 horizontal streams, but I could go on a tangent here. Please vertical stream. Like Steffi's saying, please post content and please vertical stream. At least have one vertical stream and then one horizontal. You don't just straight horizontal stream across all platforms. You're missing out on more growth than I can put into words. But with that and being able to choose, okay, I want to go vertical on YouTube. I want to go horizontal on YouTube, right? Like I'm streaming to my main YouTube channel horizontal and then vertical to my second channel. So I'm still hitting 2 different algorithms. And I think a lot of people don't think about it that way at the start. They're like, okay, I can just horizontally stream and grow a community on each platform, where vertical streaming gets you into the TikTok, the swiping, the people that probably have never seen you for the first time. Like a lot of people in horizontal, they'll watch your long form content. Maybe they've seen you in Twitch through a friend of a friend, or maybe they followed you in a raid. But with the ability to go shoot yourself off to 5 platforms now, especially vertically, get on Streamlabs Ultra, buy a streaming PC. Not financial advice. Please buy a streaming PC. And just take advantage of it. Ask questions later. Don't get stuck in the, what if I do this? Is it going to ruin this? I did that so much in 2020 and 2018 in retrospect, like thinking something was going to happen to me. Twitch is not going to ban me for multi-streaming. They wouldn't have banned me at 20 viewers if I would have multi-streamed in 2020. They wouldn't have been a problem. They never banned me for doing the TikTok stuff. Again, ask for forgiveness later. Just do it. If you really find out something that bad, cheers to you. But in the world of multi-streaming, I don't see it. I only seeing it being beneficial.
I agree. I actually stream vertically and horizontally on YouTube simultaneously to the same channel, but you just get a different audience that comes into your vertical stream. And I've had some people come into the vertical stream and be like, oh, I can't really see the whole game. And I'm like, no problem. I have a horizontal stream going right now.
Yep.
And they're like, really? And I'm like, really? And then there's a pop over, and like you're just funneling them through, because they're just people that are on a different part of the app but still want to see something, and you still have the full capacity. You don't have to change anything. Again, not an ad, but Streamlabs makes it so you have a full vertical setup available to you that you can see and you can monitor, and you can actually put up your game instead of just our lovely faces now. So I would recommend doing both. And if you ever want to, just ask somebody. It's actually pretty easy to figure out how to do both at the same time.
Yeah,
but yeah, I agree. It's a completely different audience that does the swiping, the youngins.
It's great. It's insane, to be honest. But
yeah, and I think I want to go back to the attention span piece, because I do think with the rise of platforms like TikTok, the number one piece of advice that everybody gives you when you start making TikTok content is that you have 2 seconds. You have 2 seconds before you lose 50% of your viewership. And that applying to live content is such a weird idea, right? Because the swiping, the scrolling, that's all still the same, right? So how are you working as creators to try and remain engaging at all times? Because, again, you have the discoverability on TikTok. It's an opt-out platform. Like, that's what it is you have to swipe away from the content that you're being shown. And that is a really, really powerful thing. That's what's so powerful about that algorithm. But how do you keep your audiences engaged? Because, it's so easy for somebody to come in, say, I don't know, cringe, ZZZZZ, and then leave, right?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, how are you, working to, make sure that when you have that 2-second window of somebody new coming to your content, discovering your content for the first time, how do you keep them staying there?
This actually is one thing that I hate about streaming, is I feel like I have to be on at all times. Yeah. Otherwise, people are gonna leave. Yeah. And usually after streams, I have a crash, because I'm putting all my energy into this stream for 4 to 6 hours, And that's something I need to work on myself. I need to know that people, if they want to watch my live stream, they're going to be there for me. But in my head, I'm like, no, I got to be crazy at all times, because on TikTok, people are funneling in and out. So imagine I'm a little bit off for a couple of minutes. In my head, I'm like, oh, TikTok's already moving on. So in my head, I'm like, I gotta be on at all times, so when people are funneling in, that they see my personality and how funny I can be. But what I've noticed, with TikTok Live specifically, is if you see someone coming into your chat, say hi to them. They haven't typed yet. TikTok has this thing where people enter, and now you can click and say, wave at them. So I kind of force them. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm doing this to you. And I know, like, with lurkers, I know you hate this, like, people calling you out if you're lurking. Like, there's a reason you're lurking. I'm sorry, but I will call you out. Like, if I see you pull into my TikTok live, I'd be like, hi. And they're like, how did you know I was here? I'm like, I see you pop in. Like, it's just getting them or making them feel welcome off the bat will be like, it'll make them feel special.
Which, again, like, to this point is antithetical to Twitch culture, right? This this piece of advice is literally, if you do that on Twitch, people will come for you.
Yeah.
But that kind of thing is so necessary on TikTok.
Right, and it makes sense because something from coming from Twitch to going to TikTok that I complain about is in Twitch, you only see people. I mean, you can open up the whole, like, who's lurking if you do that, but, like, you have to go out of your way to do that. But otherwise, people have to say something for you to say hi. And then it's like, say hi, like, greet them. But on TikTok, the chat is moving with people as they enter. It's just like, so-and-so entered, so-and-so entered, so-and-so entered. And that was really jarring at first, because then someone would be like, hello, and then it would move, because it would be like, entered, 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 entered. And you're like, oh, God. But, like, you just need to treat those people as legitimate audience as well. That's really amazing advice, actually.
And, like, huge, if you're becoming a streamer, just because I'm sorry, but half the time, people are not there to watch the game. They're there for you. If you're in a game, unless you're competing for money, read your chat. Please. The amount of times, like, I have people that are trying to become streamers, and I say hi, and it takes them, like, 5-10 minutes to respond. I'm gone. Like, read your chats. I don't care what you're doing, if you're busy, like, and especially if you get donos or subs or bits or anything, if you're not going crazy for a 10-cent dono, then you're doing it wrong. Like, somebody sends me one bit, I'm like, oh my God, thank you for the one. Like, you better be going crazy for every dono that you're getting. That is huge. That's my biggest pet peeve. If somebody, like, donates to a streamer and they're like, oh, thanks for the gifted. I'm like, oh, I don't like you. Like,
Yeah. Hey, Steffi, thanks for the 100. I appreciate that. Hey, thanks, man.
But I mean, yeah, so big thing, like, if you're becoming a streamer, like, your chat is, like, community, build your community. Like, people are coming into your chat, start a Discord, force them into your Discord. That way you can chat with them every day. Like, no matter how big I become, I will never grow an ego. I will always respond to your DMs. Well, it depends where you're DMing me, because I get a lot on some platforms. But Discord, Twitter, like, you're DMing me, I'm taking time out of my day to, like, people are like, oh, I love your content. I'll, like, heart it. I'll be like, thank you so much. They're like, oh my God, you responded? I'm like, yeah, like, I'm there. Like, that's one thing. Like, build a community and then respond to your community. Like, no matter how big you are, don't grow an ego. And that's, like, what I notice with a lot of streamers is they get an ego that I'm too cool for you. Like, you'll fall off so fast. And so, yeah, huge thing, community. Like, community.
Yeah, and to go full circle here to back, like, has streaming changed kind of because of, you know, the TikTok? I think it's ignorant to sit here and say that it hasn't and to ignore it. Like, and what I mean by that is be intentional when, you know, I think you're algorithm-based streaming, like, you know, you have an hour, 2 hour, you're really trying to maximize your growth, and then be intentional with community stuff, like Steffi's saying, whether that's off-stream stuff in Discords, whether that's, you know, you're going a little bit low tempo, just actually playing the game after you've made your YouTube videos, whatever that looks like. But to sit there and ignore and be like, oh, people don't want to watch, I don't get any views, and everyone's stealing all my views. There's so many views. In vertical live streaming, there's so many views if you approach it from the right way of just being like, it's an algorithm now. You're not just going to swipe and then be like, wow, Stan is so handsome, I'm going to sit here and watch him forever. Oh my goodness, Stan. No, they swipe and they're like, Stan, open the FIFA pack. Open, 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 open. It's just the whole thing. And so acknowledge that, own that, and then remember at the end of the day too, you're a content creator. I don't see Shroud in here. I don't know. So maybe we have some professional players. They're not watching you for your talent. Like, sure, I've always balanced and walked the line of I'm very good at the video game I play, but the comedic aspect of it will always pay way higher dividends than you trying to go be Shroud. You're not Shroud. I hate to break the news. And Shroud, if you see this, I love you. But it's a new age of streaming. And to think otherwise, I think you're only hurting yourself.
I agree, and it really depends I mean, I think this applies to any sort of content that you make. Because what I sometimes hear from creators is like, well, you're telling me that I need to be engaging, or I need to be loud, or I need to, but like, what if I want to be a cozy streamer, or what if I want to do like ASMR? Like, it's just about always being on and always engaging in a way. So if you're new and you don't have a chat to interact with, you just keep talking. I do a lot of RPGs where a lot of it is like me having to read the text on the screen. I will do voices for every single character. If it's not one where you read and you're actually just watching like beautifully voice acted scenes, I will be the sports newscaster that I need to be. Like, I know most people that are there aren't there for the game. They're there to watch my reaction to the game. So even though they're talking, I'm talking over the game and being like, can you believe that he said that? Oh my God. Anyway, so I know he's talking about this, but do you see that outfit that they made? It looks fantastic. And you just don't know what you're gonna say that's going to get somebody to stay with you. I've had people be like, there was one time you were talking about this thing and you were just like, oh no, please stop. And I was like, was that a Willy Wonka reference? And I was like, it was, actually. And they're like, yeah, I haven't heard anyone reference that movie in a while. So I was like, she seems pretty cool. And I was like, okay. So like, you just don't know what it is that someone's gonna hear you say or do that's going to resonate with them. And in this current climate where live streaming is so competitive, what people are there for is the streamer, and they're going to watch people that they feel they relate to in some way, whether that be physically, visually, lifestyle-wise, hobbies. So like the only way for people to figure those things out about you is for you to just keep going, just keep talking off the riff, making jokes, just talking. Even if you're having like an off day, I've had days where I'm like, guys, we're gonna be a little bit cozier, but I'm still talking, always,
And being yourself.
always being yourself. Like, just, I wouldn't think too much. Sometimes I would be like, oh man, I just realized I said that in front of 500 people. Don't think about it. Just keep going. Because it's just, people really, I think, have a really good nose for authenticity these days, and they really care about that. The age of just like, we all grew up with watching celebrities and people that are like really far away in Hollywood, but I think people really like streamers and that we just seem like regular people, because heck, we are absolutely just regular people, and they want to see your regular reactions. So as long as you're just exhibiting that as often as you can, as much as you can, that's how you're going to keep the attention for people and then build that. The Discord is a great example. I recently started playing a Kingdom Hearts, and people really want to talk, but I really don't want to be spoiled on this game. So I'm like, hey, join the Discord. I have a little channel in there that's muted for me, and then y'all can just go off about everything Kingdom Hearts related that I can't see. And it's a really good incentive to take people from my chat to my Discord, and they actually chat in the Discord where they don't have to worry about like saying something about 2 games from now, but then that chat is constantly moving, and my moderators are in it, and they're like, everything's going fine in there. I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's, I think, a good strategy for like having your Discord. It's, I think, really bringing everyone over to your Discord is really big. It's a good way to take everyone from like your TikTok, your YouTube, your Twitch, and bring them all into one place where you can like really build that relationship with them.
It's super interesting, right? How at the beginning of the conversation, right, we were talking a lot about like some of the like, you know, the differences in algorithms and the state of the algorithms and how to sort of optimize there, and like, you know, the kind of the growth and prevalence of multi-streaming. But at the same time, there's just these fundamentals that are just so absolutely critical, and they've been true a year ago, 5 years ago, and they'll be true a year from now and 5 years from now, right? I think authenticity, engaging with your chat, the effort behind community building. I think even things like the consistency of making it clear, like when can people expect for you to be live next? It's surprising, but we see that a lot with a lot of new streamers. You know, it's like people have no idea when you're going to go live again, right? So, you know, I just think that it's super interesting how it's like there's just certain things that you just absolutely can't ignore to ultimately be successful and grow an audience, while there are so many things that are kind of evolving and you need to stay on top of.
Yeah, no, and I think that's true, that like at the core of live streaming at the end of the day, no matter how the algorithm shifts, no matter what new platforms pop up, no matter, you know, what upstart streaming service, you know, kind of kicks the door in, at the end of the day, it is about human connection. It is about connecting with the real people on the other side of the screen. It's not just, you know, content for content's sake anymore. And I think we just got a 5-minute warning, so I think one last question. What is your, like, God, I wish they made this thing? Like, what, as a content creator, would just help you, like, oh man, if they did this, that would be great. I was just thinking, I think it would be great if we made, for TikTok specifically, a widget that just grabs the top post on AITA and shows subway runners while you go to the bathroom, because again, it's something that, you know, is engaging. It's content that works for TikTok, clearly, and you can just go to the bathroom and not have to worry about your views dropping off.
Exactly. For me, audio, like there was something like a all-in-one that just set everything up for you, like separated audios, like this, I mean, this would be maybe in the future, but like it just does everything for you. Separates audio. Like if you have issues, it'll fix it or find the problem, because that is my biggest thing is audio. Like on stream, all of a sudden, Steph, your mic's muted. I'm like, how? It wasn't muted 5 minutes ago. What just happened? Or it's like, Steph, have you been, or like because I like to play music at all times because my voice can get annoying and I feel bad. I yell a lot. They're like, Steph, we haven't been playing music. I'm like, then what am I singing along to? But I'm singing to a song right now. They're like, we can only hear you. I'm like, how? How? So it's just like, that will be like my, hopefully in the future.
My big thing that I would love to see is if any of the platforms, looking at you, Twitch, if you're watching, could take your top clips. So my community loves making clips from my stream, and have a widget where they could just play all of those clips when you hit be right back. I actually make manual videos
Ooh, the audience
all
likes
of my
that one.
top clips. So I have like a video of that plays in my intro screen that I have, and then my BRB screen has all of my top clips playing, but it's a manual video that I make myself, that I uploaded into Streamlabs to play so that people can watch it when I'm not there. So if they happen to pop in, like there's just like JaharaJayde highlights, essentially. But it would just be amazing, because people are like, oh, I wish you could add this new clip, or like, oh, that was so funny, I hope that ends up in like the clip roll. And I'm like, listen, I'm not making like a new clip roll every week, you guys.
Yeah,
like,
thank you for signing me up for the 4-hour editing
Right.
project. Like,
I don't want to do it. So it would just be really nice if it was just like an auto widget that could take all of like your most popular clips and play them so people that pop in can see your like 15, 30 second, 60-second stuff when you're gone, instead of it just being, because like you can do that manually, but like we can do a lot of stuff manually that you can do automatically now. That's better. So
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably have one that a lot of people have, and I feel like it's been said a million times. I wish Twitch had a feature for short form that was prominent. And so, like, the clips on the page actually, like, I would love to see clips from streamers that I've never watched. I go to Twitch, I watch a certain set of streamers, I go there for those streamers. I don't find myself browsing much. And I might be in the minority there for sure, but I think in the era of short form, and we've seen Instagram Reels become massive, and I would say in the last 6 months, sure, they don't want to compete with social media. I understand that, but it would be great if like somehow our Twitch clips could seriously be an algorithm in and out of itself to promote growth instead of having to just push people there.
Yeah, you know, I think similar to Jahara's, right? I think when you look at something like live sports, right? Like so much of the broadcast is replays, right, of highlights that are happening live, right? And I think introducing elements like that to a live stream could be super, super interesting, right? I think beyond a be right back screen, how cool would it be if something awesome happens? I don't know, you're playing a game like Fortnite, right? And then, okay, now you're like gathering resources and you're looking at like replays of the awesome thing that just happened while you're farming, right? Like, I think there's things like that that could be super cool. And I think another area is like, you know, I think creator monetization, right? I think for live streaming, like, it's very, very difficult. You know, I think for the like kind of long tail of streamers, especially aspiring streamers, like, there's a need for more solutions and how creators can monetize. So, you know, really, I think innovating in that space is something that I'm really hoping, you know, we can work on more tools to sort of build and support streamers.
I think the answers were so good they just gave us another 5 minutes. So we're gonna use every bit of it. It's fine. Yeah, no, I think that one really interesting thing that I always think about, you know, just at 3 in the morning when I'm trying to go to sleep and, you know, dreading all of the content work that I have to do, is if I were to start brand new today, like I'm attending TwitchCon because I heard about Twitch one time, like, what is your starting point? If you as a creator, brand new right now, were to start again, what's your starting point?
I'll scream this off of mountaintops. I'll die on this hill. Short form, please. Like, I'm begging, I'm on my knees. Like, please post short form. Like, you can get so many views on so many platforms and then just push people. And I bet if you did it consistently for 2 months on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and 2 months of posting every single day, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to become a streamer, I guarantee you that first stream is, I would not be surprised if you're getting in the hundreds of thousands of views a day at that point. And given that's still a lot, but like you really start getting some views, you probably have 30, 40, 50, 60 people, whereas I streamed to 3 people for 3 years. Like, and I was like, I just need a raid from Ninja. Like, if I, like, I'll tell you what, like.
I used to promote myself in Ninja's stream.
If I go live right when Ninja's ending,
like,
he'll
maybe.
definitely see my chat and be like, that's the guy. That's the guy I'm going to raid out to.
I was banned for the longest time in his chat because I kept promoting my Fortnite stream. And then he switched platforms, right? And then I guess he unbanned everyone, so I'm unbanned now.
Oh,
But
hell yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, short form is great. For me, I wish I focused more on long form. When I first started streaming, and I actually did post long form on YouTube, and I was averaging up to 10,000 views, I thought that was nothing. So I stopped. Because I was seeing my numbers on TikTok being like hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, YouTube's a waste of time. So then I took like a year or 2 off YouTube and just stopped. This was on MW19, Modern Warfare 19. And I was doing really well, but I thought I wasn't. Now I'm like averaging around 1,000 views on YouTube. So for me, like if I were to start over, it would be like I'd focus on long form. Because if you can get your audience to watch you or a long video for like 10 to 20 minutes, like they're gonna watch your live streams for longer. So that is one big thing for me is long form.
I started off on short form completely, so I'm gonna go with Steph and say I would have started YouTube sooner. I streamed exclusively on Twitch for like 3 years, and so many people over the years have asked me to put my VODs on YouTube so that they could watch them. Or I heard you saw, I tend to post clips of my live stream to promote myself on Twitter and things like that, even if it's been years, just like big highlight moments. And they'd be like, oh, that was so funny. Where can I watch that? And I'm like, it's gone. It's nowhere. I'm so sorry for promoting something you can't see anymore. Like, I've only been multi-streaming to YouTube for the past few months, and I've been streaming on Twitch for 4 years-ish, and on Twitch I currently average around 200 viewers, and in the few months that I've been multi-streaming on YouTube, I have more viewers on YouTube than I do on Twitch in my live streams. So they ramp up faster, the community is just as good. They're a little bit crazier due to the lack of moderation, but we're working on it. But I would have started sooner, for sure. I think YouTube is something that feels really established still, even with the surgence of TikTok and Instagram Reels and Shorts. And I think that you should be putting your stuff across as many platforms as possible. So really it's just, I would have started multi-streaming sooner instead of waiting and being like, I'm gonna wait till I get big on TikTok, then I'm gonna go try Instagram, then I'm gonna go try Twitch. Just do it all at once. Put everything everywhere, all at once.
If you post on one platform, take that video and post on every other platform.
Yep, everywhere.
Like, you might think it's annoying, but the audience is different on every platform. Like, the amount of people that only watch my Instagram, and half the time my chat is like, oh, why don't you post on Instagram more? I'm like, I post everything on TikTok. They're like, I hate TikTok.
I don't go to TikTok.
Yeah. And
I don't have a Twitter.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
You know, oh, I'm not really a Twitch person, so I only see it if you post it on YouTube. So, like, you might be like, I posted the same video 5 times, but, like, your audience is like, I saw it once. Maybe.
Yeah. All right, the sign has now turned to a very threatening 1 minute. They heard me talking trash. So let's just go through one last time and, say where people can find you.
Yeah, I'm JaharaJayde. You can find me everywhere under JaharaJayde, except for YouTube is JaharaJayde Games. Go join me over there. We're working on building that one up. But TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, all of them. Come say hi. Happy to have you.
SteffyEvans on all platforms. Imagine I was like, we're doing how to build across platforms. I'm only on one platform, actually. No,
I don't know why I'm in here. I just kind of.
They forced me to be here. No, SteffyEvans on all platforms. Like, same name across everywhere. Same for you guys. People that change names between platforms.
Oh yeah, don't do that.
Whoa,
Don't
whoa,
do that.
whoa,
Why?
whoa. Hey.
Why?
Hey.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Listen, I'm essentially Standman 34 on all platforms. Some of them may have 2 N's, 2 M's. I couldn't get it across all platforms, man. And then YouTube is Standman TV, but everywhere else is pretty much Standman 34.
Australia everywhere, or you can just reach out to the Streamlabs handles.
Yep, and that's me. I'm the Streamlabs handles. And also, in my spare time, I go by NubbinsInc pretty much everywhere. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all, audience, for being here. I hope you learned something. Thank you for helping us kick off TwitchCon 2024. And go out there and have fun. And please stop by the Streamlabs booth. We'd love to chat with you. Thank you.
Have a great TwitchCon.
Happy TwitchCon.